So I waited a while for this review, for a few reasons, but mainly because I wanted to present you guys with the Japan take on Uniqlo C, rather than the Western perspective. I know that sounds strange, but I'm who you got. But also because so much has changed between the release, the big news, and how the future of Uniqlo is going to be huge if the direction of the new creative director comes to a glorious yet cautious fruition. So we're gonna split this in two parts. One discussing why Uniqlo C is set to change pretty much all of Uniqlo, and part two, some pieces that garnered large popularity in Japan that kind of went under the radar in the West. So I'm THECASUAL, let's get it. All right, so first up, as many of you may know, Claire Wade Keller of Chloe and Givenchy fame was named creative director of all of Uniqlo. After a successful launch of Uniqlo C and a fall-winter follow-up including selections for men, Keller seems to be hitting the ground running with a whole restructuring of Uniqlo's offerings. Keller even gave a preview to the future stating, "What you'll start to notice is that within some of the core programs, there will be new fashion shapes and there will be new silhouettes that drop every other month to really bring in the freshness." Adding, there will be updates to the overall color palette as well, and more exploration in terms of pattern and cut and younger trending silhouettes. This is of course good news for Uniqlo, because while the brand is immensely popular, it desperately needed an overhaul in terms of its dated approach. It's great for basics and staples, but the basics and staples have expanded throughout all of fashion. Let's be honest, while Uniqlo dominates the menswear fashion space, it's often less enticing for ladies compared to the likes of, begrudgingly I say this, Shein. Thus, the subline Uniqlo C, which was really the forerunner to all this, was a push to not only provide more women's offerings, but to also make the label more contemporary and competitive in a very diverse fashion landscape. That is, until Uniqlo decided that Keller's entire approach was what they wanted for all of Uniqlo. Now, does that mean that Uniqlo will change so drastically that it'll hardly be recognizable? Not necessarily. But certain pushes by Uniqlo's parent company Fast Retailing suggest that they want Uniqlo to be more diverse and slightly upper end, while they position sister company GU as the cheaper version. Basically what Uniqlo used to be. This is why Uniqlo under Keller is the future. It makes Uniqlo far more desirable while at the same time less in line with the typical trendy sphere that has dominated fashion but is completely unsustainable. Quite frankly, they want to populate the entire lineup of Uniqlo with the industry's current slate of new staples, and they believe Keller has the chops for it. So let me give you some clarity on this. Short story. When I went to Uniqlo to pick up the pieces that I'm gonna show you today, I caught wind of two Japanese girls talking about the shoes, basically a Uniqlo German Army trainer that accompanied the collection. And they went back and forth about how kawaii they were, and I couldn't believe my ears. Why? Because you'd be hard pressed to find young mid-20s Japanese girls go to Uniqlo and say kawaii about Uniqlo footwear. It blew me away. And I knew from that anecdotal evidence, this was different. I'm being facetious, of course, but still, it was surprising. Anyway, what about the pieces? What do the pieces suggest about the future? Well, it just so happens that I have a few, while my brethren in the menswear space focused on menswear pieces, as they do, we decided to take a different approach and go the androgynous designer route, which is a bit more ambitious stylistically, but also right in line with some of the more popular pieces being picked up by both women and men. But before that, a word from our sponsor, Squarespace. A big part of fashion is community, and building a fashion brand or any business requires a strong one. That's why using Squarespace for your new website might be the way to go. Besides being packed with great website templates, built-in SEO and analytics, Squarespace's new members areas make it easy to create, foster, and grow a community of true fans. Give back by giving members exclusive content, discounts, and much more, all while monetizing your business. So use our code squarespace.com/thecasual to save 10% off of your first website, and let Squarespace help you build your brand, business, and community. So we're gonna start with Spring Summer, which was billed as an entirely women's wear line, but in Japan, that totally doesn't matter, as the black trench coat specifically from Uniqlo C was one of the most popular pieces for both men and women. I personally was immediately struck by the traditional meets modern approach to the coat, as it promotes layering and movement, but also closes slim and doesn't employ the drop shoulder often seen in oversized silhouettes. This for me was a very important aspect of the design, as drop shoulders for broad shoulder individuals is often hit or miss. This piece strikes that balance, but again, this wasn't a menswear piece. It was built for a women's collection. And the quality is impressive as well, being that it's Uniqlo. But again, this is coming from someone who hasn't bought Uniqlo seriously for years. Perhaps they did get better overall, but this piece certainly was something I hadn't experienced before. What makes it more impressive is that due to its cut, it gives off a higher end vibe that you typically don't see at Uniqlo, giving it that modern day designer / luxe look without paying that price. As a result, it was easy for me to pair this with some Yoshio Kubo pants, some treaded derbies, and a waffle knit long sleeve as the inner. While technically a simple outfit, the trench coat gives off a well put together classic upscale look. And being that it is Uniqlo, this is all the better because it doesn't break the bank. Side note. As I mentioned before, while Uniqlo doesn't hit crazy prices, the prices are certainly going up. The trench, I believe, was around 130 USD, or at least the equivalent in Japan. But that said, it certainly holds its own against options far more expensive, so it's very much still a bargain, a steal, if you will. Anyway, moving on to our second gem, we're going with the latest fall/winter 2024 collection, and we have the 3-way cotton oversized half coat. Yet another ladies piece that's a bit more ambitious than the men's offerings. This one features obviously a slight oversized silhouette, high collar, cropped midsection in lieu of a full length, comes with a belt, and has a detachable down vest inner. This one is special as it hits the nail on the head for function meets fashion meets modularity. For me, this easily goes with a more technical driven look, pairing it with a blast from the past, tech cargos from Nike Lab ACG, I know you guys remember those, and filling that outfit out with other technical accents. In these situations, it's always nice to break out the acronym Prestos. They are old and probably played, but I still love them, and they add a bit of contrast to the black ensemble. Again, the coat, due to its silhouette, add a little bit more design flavor that Uniqlo has been lacking for several years. Problem is, most of this was hidden away in the women's section, and that is just highway robbery. However, our last showing from Uniqlo C really dials in the idea that is positioning the future of Uniqlo as a whole, where you can get this sophisticated, albeit minimal unbranded looks that are at home with mid to upper tier labels. We're pairing another women's piece, the double face wrap coat, with the wide leg sweats from the same collection. I've added a wide silhouette collared shirt from Japanese label Tomorrowland, my hike see you laters, and some jewelry accents. And this is what I mean by Uniqlo's future. It becomes more and more apparent that Uniqlo is offering up a different, more updated look to its portfolio, resulting in looks that are right at home with the style du jour and more ambitious. However, there are some cons to that assessment. First, while I personally love the silhouette of the double wrap, it is of synthetic make, which I'm gonna be honest, was a real bummer for me. You can feel that synthetic make if you're sensitive to that kind of thing. I personally am, so I had to weigh some pros and cons for myself. And two, these pieces are built for typical feminine builds, so even larger sizes might not fit larger dudes, which is why I was so perturbed by the lack of ambition when it comes to the men's offerings from Uniqlo C. It was one of those, I've seen it before situations that left me wondering why the women's was so much more interesting. In short, there was just more opportunity there and less trust in men doing more ambitious things with clothing. That said, with Keller at the helm, I do believe we're in a testing the waters phase, because while Uniqlo is a global brand, it lives and breathes in Japan and Greater Asia. And if the current sold out collections of Uniqlo C are any indication of the greater offerings from Uniqlo at large, one can hope some of the ambition translates to menswear as well. And if it doesn't, I'll keep you posted on the hidden gems that many may not be given a lot of love to. But with all that said, what do you think of this direction of Uniqlo under Keller? Did you check out Uniqlo C? Did you like anything? Did anything pique your interest? How about some of the pieces that I showed you here? Let it all be known in the comments. Or suggest another brand, style, piece you'd like to see unpacked right here on The Casual. And if you can join us on YouTube or Patreon for future benefits and production credits, that would be awesome. This ensures that we'll be able to deliver more consistently the showcases you'd like to see, as well as keeping this thing going and serving you bigger and better reviews and insights, while also helping us build a platform that makes all the things we talk about more accessible to you, because that is the end game. At the very least, drop a sub, like, turn on notifications if you found this content valuable or entertaining to you, but most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international fashion and culture from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. I'll see you guys in a minute.